Hi everyone, and welcome back to your online class this morning, everyone. Some of you have the overlap the schedule in the mornings and in the afternoon. Somehow, the VO still be able to, watch and study for you. You just click the link and you just go to the YouTube, or you learn from the group as well. Thank you everyone, and now we are moving to our lesson with the chapter 2 Science Unit 12 Cold, Flu and Folks Advice. Okay, as you have learned last time, you have learned with some of the vocabulary such as the word like virus, like influenza, like immunization, stuff, and dehydrate. Okay, so those also with the definition like viruses can be about the micro, mi- again microscopic organism that can cause disease. So in our body, we have the viruses, but some of the part of our body, it is strong enough, okay, to you know um, to protect the virus. So that's why our body keeps strong. And you can see that like some people when they get sick, okay, they always get along with another illness easily because the virus is stronger than the part of your body, okay. And influenza immunization, stuff and hydrate. Therefore, you have learned with some the practice from the VOA Special English programs, okay, and you complete with the three important here like popular wisdom about the cold and flu. They prepare about between the traditional and about the new discoveries in this region. Somehow they also talk about what science and research say about cold temperature condition for the infection. And this can be part of the solution um, to talk about the way to protect, okay, and way that people believe before with the how to treat the flu. And the last one about the raise up about the influenza, vaccines, okay, that some idea said that when they get injected from the vaccine it can cause the disease. Okay, so we move to our lesson today. So you have to listen to the listening once again. Then you have to answer the question. Here we have three questions. Number one, according to the report, so when do most people get colds and the flu? Number two, how can cold temperature increase the risk of sickness? And number three, why should you think plenty of fluid, if you have a fever? So to answer the question, so you have to listen to this listening carefully, then choose the right answer. So please get started, everyone.
Unit 12 Colds, Flu, and Folk Advice. Colds, Flu, and Folk Advice. This is the VOA Special English Health Report. Autumn and winter are cold and flu season, when people are most likely to catch the viruses that cause influenza and the common cold. Is the old advice true that dressing warmly will help prevent a cold? Or, if you do get sick, should you follow the old saying, feed a cold and starve a fever? And what about that fever? Should you take medication to reduce your temperature? Or is it better to let the body treat the infection itself? Everyone seems to have an answer. But how much value is there in popular wisdom? Dr. Alvin Nelson El Amin knows a lot about cold and flu season in California. He is the medical director of the immunization program for the Los Angeles County Department of Public Health. Dr. Nelson El Amin says research may be just starting to provide evidence for long-held beliefs. For example, scientists for years dismissed the idea that getting cold and wet might cause colds or flu. But recent studies have shown that cold temperatures cause stress on the body. That stress can create conditions more inviting to viruses. So, maybe it does make sense to wrap up warmly before going outside. And what about the advice to feed a cold and starve a fever? Dr. Nelson El Amin says if you have a cold and are hungry, you should eat. But a fever, especially a high one, suggests a more serious problem. He says people are usually not hungry anyway when they have a high fever. Eating might even cause a person to vomit. But drinking plenty of liquids is important. A fever can easily dehydrate the body. Finally, when should you treat a fever? Dr. Nelson El Amin says a fever should be treated if it stays at 40 degrees Celsius or above for a day or more. A temperature that high can damage brain cells. The doctor also believes in treating a fever if it prevents a person from sleeping. Aspirin, acetaminophen, and ibuprofen can all be used to reduce pain and fever. But aspirin should not be given to children because it can cause a rare condition. One belief that Dr. Nelson El Amin wanted to make clear is wrong is that the influenza vaccine can cause the flu. It cannot. Sometimes people get the flu from another person soon after they get vaccinated, so they blame the vaccine, he says. But flu vaccines do not protect everyone who gets them. Still, even if a person does get sick, the vaccine can limit the effects of the virus. And that's the VOA Special English Health Report, written by Katie Weaver.
Okay, so everyone, so now go back to your question, and you see here like the question number 1 from letter A to letter D. Letter A, like after they have been wet and cold. B, when they get a flu shot, okay. And C, during apple seasons. And D, in fall and winter. So the answer is D. The report have been mentioned about the two, between the two seasons, between fall and winter. There can be causes, most people get colds and flu, okay. And number 2, how can cold temperatures increase the risk of sickness? A, by causing people to vomit, and B, by causing stress in the body. C, by preventing vaccines from working. D, by damaging brain cell. So the answer is letter B, by causing stress in the bodies. So cold temperature, they increase the sickness like this. And number 3, why should you think plenty of fluid if you have a fever? So A, most people are not hungry when they have a cold. B, you can get sick if you are wet. C, the body can get dehydrated, okay. And D, liquid will prevent you from getting a cold. So the answer of this question is letter C, the body can get dehydrated. Okay, so now we move to the next here that focus on the sound like R, H, U, H, R sound like doctor, like fever, like year. Okay. Okay. So now let's listen again, everyone, and listen to the sentence twice and fill in the blank. So we have the 4 sentences. Like, so those just focus on the sound like U or UHR. Okay. Sound like doctor, like fever and year. So listen carefully, then answer the question here. Okay, so listen to this listening, everyone.
Number 1. He is the medical director of the immunization program. He is the medical director of the immunization program. Number 2. How much value is there in popular wisdom? How much value is there in popular wisdom? Number 3. Research may be starting to provide evidence for long-held beliefs. Research may be starting to provide evidence for long-held beliefs. Number 4. But recent studies have shown that cold temperatures cause stress on the body. But recent studies have shown that cold temperatures cause stress on the body.
Okay, so now let's check the answer, everyone. Like the first one, the word like director. Okay. Number 2, the word population. Number 3, the word research. And number 4, the word temperature. We move to another part of our lesson today. So complete the summary here, everyone. Like we have the word like infection, the word condition, the word belief, like dehydration, vaccine, and stress. So autumn, and winter are cold and flu seasons. There are many popular belief about stopping and treating them. Some people think, dressing warmly will prevent a cold. Research so that cold temperature cause what? Cause stress in the body. This cause condition, more inviting for viruses. Some say you should take medication to treat a fever. Other advise letting the body fight the infection by itself. High fever can cause dehydration and brain damage. People with high fever should be treated immediately. However, children with the fever should not take aspirin. You cannot get the flu from influenza. Okay, so influenza vaccines. They also, argue that some people say when they get, vaccines, it can cause the flu. But they argue that it is impossible. It is not, because of some, get flu, soon after they get the vaccines. So this is not the legit reasons or reasonable for this advice. So the doctor, just advise to let the body fight the infection by itself. So when you get a fever, you get a flu, sometimes you don't need, to get the medicines. If you are the, for children only, that they, the research suggests like take the medicine but are not experienced. Okay. So it come to the end of your first lesson today, everyone. So thank you so much and see you again in the second section. Goodbye, everyone.